Don't you worry, Guyana, cause we got you. If and Mark and Bharat are here for you. Improving the nation, better education, delivering 20,000 scholarships, and it's all for you. Don't you worry, Guyana, cause we got you. So many opportunities, so many universities, studying all from the comfort of your home, through the Guyana Online Academy of Learning. So get a line and go apply, this will change your life. Don't you worry, Guyana, cause we got you. Don't you worry, Guyana, we're here for you.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Welcome to your news at noon. I am Kevin Smith, and these are the top stories we are tracking. Guyana must pay oil companies bills first before any arbitration. Guyana cannot renegotiate contract without Exxon's consent, and agreement also prevents new taxes or more royalty on oil operator. APNU AFC MPs and supporters passed through court for illegal procession over 2020 elections, and a foreign-controlled company sets up concrete factory with no EPA or CHPA approval and contributes to rapid destruction of South Rheinveld Road. Do stay tuned to stay informed. And now for the news in detail. While U.S. oil major ExxonMobil shares a long-standing relationship with the World Bank across countries where it operates, it is of interest to many industry stakeholders that the American-based International Financial Institutions Dispute Arm is named as the arbitrator for the Stabroek Block operations, should there be any disagreements over financial claims. This state of affairs obtained since the PSA signed between the Government of Guyana and ESSO and its partners, named International Center for the Settlement of Investment Disputes as the sole arbitrator. Under the PSA, should there be a financial disagreement with the oil major, the country would still have to pay whatever amount is demanded by ExxonMobil as cost oil before any arbitration is held by the World Bank-funded center to determine who owes who and how much. Meanwhile, political leaders, social and other commentators have been calling for a renegotiation of the 2016 production sharing agreement with ESSO, but this cannot happen without the consent of ExxonMobil. This is due to the fact that a stability clause has been inserted into the PSA, which was inked with the government. According to the provision, except as may be expressly provided therein, the government shall not amend, modify, rescind, terminate, declare invalid or unenforceable, require renegotiation of, compel, replacement or substitution, or otherwise seek to avoid, alter, or limit this agreement without prior consent of the contractor ESSO, whose majority shareholder is ExxonMobil. Additionally, the PSA, commonly referred to as a contract, has also restriction on Guyana from imposing any additional financial obligations on the oil operations. And moving on, Opposition Chief Whip Christopher Jones, Opposition Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson, and 4 APNU AFC supporters were yesterday hauled before the courts on illegal procession charges. The charges stem from a march outside of the High Court in Georgetown last month following the ruling on the elections petition case by Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire. The matters were called in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Senior Magistrate Leron Daly. Jones, Ferguson, and 6 named coalition supporters were called in the matter. Those 6 supporters are Mark Griffith, Gary Morris, Malcolm Bollison, Travis Ellis, Gordon Lucas, and George Haley. And now let's tell you, a foreign-controlled company, Superior Concrete Inc., whose company officers are Ian Charles Jones, Richard Austin Shamlin, and Maxwell Christopher Snow, have proceeded to build a concrete batching facility in Houston without any regulatory permissions. Residents in the area have complained that during the last few weeks, trucks have been using the David Rose Street South Rheinfeld Gardens as their main entrance to the facility, while adding that this has contributed to the rapid destruction of the road. The trucks have also been working during the night, creating a noise nuisance for the residents. Checks with the mayor and city council and the EPA have confirmed that no permissions for this development were given. Also, no application was even made for the same. It is now 12 hours 24 in Guyana, and you're listening to Kaieteur Radio. This is your news at noon. Coming up after the break, a black boy wanted for Swan man's murder, and in your COVID-19 update, 4 women die of COVID-19 in one day. Do stay tuned.
Spend your Saturday afternoon with me, Shivani Rampusad, rocking to your favorite Bollywood tunes on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM from 1 o'clock up until 4 o'clock. Bollywood tunes only on the radio with a difference.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. The Guyana Police Force yesterday issued a wanted bulletin for the second suspect in relation to the murder of Roy Ross of Swan Village, Linden Suslake Highway. Wanted by the police is 19-year-old Adolph Joseph, also known as Black Boy, of Swan Squatting Area. The father of 2 was murdered between April 4th and April 5th at his Swan home. Anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of Adolph Joseph is asked to contact the police on telephone numbers 227-2603, 226-7065, 911 or the nearest police station. All information will be treated with strict confidence. It was reported that around 6 hours on April 5th, a motionless Ross was found lying in a pool of blood in his living room. His body, which bore several stab wounds, was found by his neighbor. In other news, a body, which is labeled to be that of Akeem Davidson, a laborer of Retrieve Mackenzie Linden, was found yesterday. This comes after Davidson left his camp and headed down to a nearby creek to have a bath with his friend. According to a police report, Davidson had dived down but never resurfaced. His body was never found after the incident, which occurred on Tuesday. It is understood that the body was found 300 yards away from the Mabura access road and is believed to be that of Davidson due to its close proximity to where he had disappeared. No marks of violence have been visible on the body and is currently awaiting identification and a post-mortem examination. And moving on, moments after 3 men committed a daring robbery at Lee's supermarket in Monrepo on the east coast of Demerara, one of the suspects was found in an unconscious state by the police. It is understood that an anonymous caller contacted the Betavawacting police station yesterday informing them of a robbery by 3 males dressed in dark clothing. The male, who was observed to be bearing no external injuries, was escorted to Betavawacting police station, where one of the victims identified him as one of the individuals who robbed her and others in the supermarket. In addition, he was found with $21,500 cash in his possession. And on that note, we now head over to our COVID-19 update. The Ministry of Health yesterday reported that 4 persons who tested positive for the virus have died. Their deaths now bring Guyana's COVID-19 death toll to 314. The latest fatalities are 4 women, a 52-year-old and a 65-year-old, both from Region 4, a 69-year-old from Region 3, and a 29-year-old from Region 7. The ministry, via its daily COVID-19 dashboard, recorded 116 new COVID-19 cases, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 14,073. The dashboard also shows that 14 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, 101 persons are in institutional isolation, 1,716 in home isolation, and 10 persons are quarantined institutionally. To date, 11,928 recoveries have been recorded. And just before we wrap up today's news at noon, we now head over to the page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated to being blunt. How the Ali administration professes to truly care for the people of Guyana when it outrightly refuses to correct the abomination that is the Stabroek Block deal. Guyanese are tired of being fed daily doses of false hopes and promises of a better life. If that contract and its abhorrent provisions that rob Guyanese of their rightful share of the oil wealth are not corrected, The good future we hope to give the next generation will never be attained. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana.